What's up, everybody? AJ Flame here. And as I stated before in my Twitter, here we are with my test hand slash combo video. As you know, you get to see me right there in the little corner on the right hand side, bottom right. Although I'm looking real crusty today. Didn't do my hair, just went to work, put a hat on, all that stuff. Didn't even bother. I just said, you know what, forget it. Putting on a hat, calling it a day. You get to see me here, and we're gonna do 3 test hands with my Phantom Knights profile that I posted not too long ago from this video. I want to go ahead and try and keep, if I post a deck list, I want to try and make a combo or tutorial video pretty soon after I post the deck list. But we will, well, I mean, I'll obviously try, and I apologize for this glare. I've literally tried everything to not have a glare, but as me sitting right under my light, I can't move my stuff because this is literally the best space in my room to actually do it unless I turned everything around, but which I might try later. I don't know, maybe I'm not completely rolling it out, but for chords and everything, this is the best way to have everything set up. And so what we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and run you through I'm going to run you through three test hands that I get, and we're going to go ahead and just roll with them. Phantom Knights is a very linear yet non-linear deck, so depending on what hand you get and what different scenarios, there are so many different paths that you can take, which is what I love about this deck, and which is why this keeps me entertained all these years that I've been playing it, because and you can go so many different ways and so versatile. And even if you're stopped by, let's say, Nibiru, if you have the correct setup in your graveyard, you can still go on with your plays and end on a pretty strong board. But for these test hands, we're going to go ahead and go as if we're being completely uninterrupted, although most of the time this may not happen. But most of the time, you do have contingency plans for if you are interrupted on your first summon. Let's say if you talk about the tour guide and they're like, oh, Ash, most of the times you should have a contingency plan. You can usually like Ash and then chain block with Kagamucha, but I will go ahead and show you all that stuff. Now, before this, I already did pile shuffle, so we're just gonna go ahead and get some quick riffle shuffling up in here. Do that cut. And we're gonna go ahead and do the sportsman-like cut, the gentleman's cut that we do. Well, whenever I'm playing, so or in locals or the extravaganzas, so we usually just do like half and then like 5 or 10 off the top. Well, 5 through 10, I'll just do 5 for the sake of time in this video, because yeesh. But because as I said before, we're doing 3 test hands, and that's quite a lot. And it just shows you guys my thought process while running through. So we're gonna go ahead and take the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put them at the bottom. And actually, I was told by a judge while I was playing that when doing that, you have to move them all as one, so you can't be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then flop them out to the bottom. He just told me that, but that's just a little food for thought. But if you want more of these combo videos, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what I can do better. Obviously, I'm gonna do all this camera stuff, like the whole camera angle thing is kind of bothering me, because most of the time I'm not going to be looking at the camera. I'll be looking like this direction, because the camera right now is to my left on my face, and I have the cam on down here. So we're gonna go ahead, draw that first hand. All right, Boots, Fogblade, Bell, Cloak, and Torn Scales. Okay, this hand is not bad. I believe, yeah, we can still go pretty far. I believe we still have full combo if uninterrupted. That's just the choice of discards you want to do in this. Since we already have one Fogblade in hand, we don't really have to search for it. But this Fogblade could also be another extender, so we have to be careful with what we do. So we're going to go ahead and start off by summoning Torn Scales. We're going to go ahead and activate Torn Scales, discarding Cloak. And we're going to go ahead and send a gloves, a ragged gloves whenever I find him. There we go. But also, here is another thing. We could discard. Actually, yes, let's do. Let's discard Fogblade instead of Cloak. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead, special Silent Boots. And go ahead, link off for 2 into Cherubini. I'm going to use Cherubini's effect. Remember, Cherubini's effect is to gain attack points, not to send. Sending is the cost to activate the effect. So if you ever activate Cherubini and somebody like attempts to ash you, they cannot do that, and that's an illegal play because the send is Cherubini. Cherubini's actual effect is to gain attack, just like Dante's actual effect is to gain attack, and the milling 3 is just the requirement to gain that attack. So you have to do that in order to use the actual effect. So you can't ash Dante, nor can you ash Cherubini, which is very, very nice. So we're going to go ahead, activate Graph, since it hit the grave, and special summon out Seer from the deck in the zone that Cherubini points to. All right. And from here, what we're going to go ahead and do, at this point in time, we can do a few little things here. We can go ahead and activate Raga Gloves, but instead of sending Wings, we're going to go ahead and send Stained Greaves to the grave. Usually with Gloves, we want to send Wings, but since we have Fogblade in the grave already, that go ahead, that will act as a let's say what I want to say, a revival. It will bring back a Phantom Knights, right? And so what we're going to go ahead and do with that, we're going to go ahead and activate. We're not going to activate Torn just yet. We're going to go ahead, activate Stained Greaves. We're going to banish him, especially summon this Cloak as a hand, and we're going to keep it level 3. I know that glare is nasty. It's all the way over here. And what we're going to go do next, we're going to link into Rusty Bardiche. And Man of the Hour, as you see, we have Bell in hand as our last card. Most likely she won't do anything until our opponent's turn. But, I mean, it is still useful to have another card in hand, although we don't have another normal summon. Which is kind of rough, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, activate Bardiche's effect. And we're going to go ahead and send a... We could send any at this point, but we're going to go ahead and send a Cloak. Because this is a very important part. We're going to go ahead, banish that... Whoopsies, I forgot to set. And we're going to go ahead and set the... We will set the spell card. Rank up. Set that over here. Alright. And now we're going to go ahead, activate Cloak, banishing it, and add Stained Greaves to hand. And now this is where it gets a little fun. Kind of. I don't know. But these combos, so non-linear, and it's amazing. It's so much fun. Different things depending on whatever you want to do. So, since you were banished, we could special you, right? Special summon. Stained Greaves' effect activates special summoning himself as well. Since a Phantom Knights was special, I can choose if I want him as a level 4 or if not. We're gonna keep him. Actually, no. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put him at 4. So we're gonna go ahead, overlay. Actually, or should I have kept him at 3? This is the fun part I was mentioning before. So we're gonna keep him at 3. So we're not gonna special summon him as 4. What we're gonna do, we're gonna exceed into Levier, activate the effect of Levier, detaching the Torn. And then special summoning Gloves from Graveyard, because the Gloves is a foolish. And you want to set up your grave as much as you possibly can. Actually, no, we can't keep him as level 4. but it would be, yeah. So if we keep him as level 4 right now, we could go ahead. We could banish Boots. So if we keep Greaves as level 4, we can banish Boots, add Shade Brigandine to hand. Activate Fogblade Engrave, banishing it, targeting with Torn Scales, especially in Torn Scales. Alright, and then we can go ahead and go into a Breaksword here. Although unfortunately Breaksword will get that 1000 boost because it is mandatory if you use Racket Gloves as Exceed material. The Breaksword is here. I know this glare is so nasty and there's nothing I can really do about it. I mean, I tried a lot, but yes, you can see it right here, Breaksword right here. But Brightice's effect, activate, destroying our own Breaksword. And then Breaksword's effect, we will go ahead and bring back those same 2 now as level 4 monsters. And now since we don't have a Fogblade and Graveyard, we can go ahead and set and activate Shade Brigandine. And we can go ahead and go into Time Thief Redoer with these 2. So Redoer has a trap and a monster, so it has a spin to the top of the deck, and it banishes himself into the next standby phase. And here we can go into Dark Rebellion, and with this set spell, quick play spell, in our opponent's main phase, as soon as they normal summon a monster or if they set a card, we can go ahead and activate it. Exceed summoning into, well, banishing Graph, and then exceed summoning into, excuse me, and exceeding into Dark Requiem in a spot Brightice points to go ahead and get a pop. Now I can guarantee you a lot of you here are thinking, why didn't he bring back Cherubini with Seer? Okay, to make Apollousa when activating Leviair, detaching and going to that full exceed motion. I just went like this. You could see it in the camera. You probably did. I wasn't looking, but I probably did. Now the reason for that is just simply because Apollousa was not in the deck list when I made it, and I will be receiving one in a few days, but I did order that like today, literally today. And I don't want to make a combo around a card that I do not have or have right now in the future, or if you don't have it and you can't really afford it, although I did just buy it for like $5. And this is just a way to play around it. And for the most part, I have played this deck with no Apollousa at all, and I've been perfectly fine. I mean, I loved it. Although it does give me 3 more monster negates, which is very, very nice, on top of Dark Rebellions. Dark Requiem, excuse me. Because a lot of the time when doing that, on my opponent's turn, Dark Requiem it got either Kaiju'd or Tactic Talents, and that was a real pain that I had to deal with because I was not having any of that, and it was just bad to deal with. It was a bad time in general, and it was bad. Although I could have done something else to stop it, but it was just not. It was an unfun time. But this is one of your first turn combos, and plus you have Bell in hand, which is an interruptions. Like even if they set a card, or if you go the next turn, draw a card. They tried IDP you after you already have Requiem on the field and everything. You could be like, okay, Bell, because I love Bell. Bell helps me so much. My hand trap of choice in that extra slot. But we're gonna go ahead and set up for another test hand. So we're gonna go ahead, put everything back, shuffle up, and then draw 5 brand new cards from the deck. And as I said before, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, if you want to see more of this, or if you want to just go ahead and help me out and help me reduce this glare. I swear, one like reduces the glare, each reduces my glare. And it's a pretty bad glare. 1 like reduces the glare, 1 subscribe just turns off my light bulb. Subscribing turns off my light, and I just won't turn it on. So we're gonna go ahead, riffle shuffle this bad boy up. Once we're done with that, set that down. 1, 2, cut for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off that top. Boom, and we're gonna go ahead and draw Ash, Seer, Wing, Brigandine, and Fogblade. This is one of those hands where you can't do anything with. And that happens. Trust me, it happens. It happens a lot. Best case scenario is set 4 pass, unironically. Those hands happen. Let's go ahead and get that brick out of here. That is one of the unfortunate realities with this deck. You do brick as with pretty much every deck. There is always a chance of you bricking a wall. Unless you're Dragon Link and you just always have you always have the hand. Or the Invocation, you know. Invoke players have Alistair, Meltdown, and Invocation in their starting hand. If they're good. If they're good. If they're not, it's just Meltdown, no Invocation. But hey, it happens. Bricks happen. Alright, let's go ahead. Yeah, I think that'll count. Because that is a game 2 right there. That's a game 3 hand right there. Okay, draw hand, Bell, Tor, Fogblade, Ash, and Boots. Wow, okie dokie. We love seeing hand traps. Ooh, this is an interesting hand here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start off with the Tour Guide summon, obviously. And then Tour Guides will go ahead and net us a graph. I realized I didn't do the my gentleman's top, but it's okay. Go ahead, link off into the use, Cherubini. Our main man, graph effect will activate. Go ahead and get that Seer. Now in this case, we don't have much to work with here. So in this case, we're gonna have to go straight into Bardiche after we use Cherubini's effect and send for cost. So we're gonna go ahead and use Cherubini's effect and send. We're gonna go ahead and send Torrent Scales. And now we're gonna go ahead and exceed into Bardiche. If I could pick up my whole extra deck. Here you go. And wow, I said exceed. I meant link. That's bad. All right, and we're gonna go ahead, use Bardiche's effect, and send a gloves. Actually, hold on. We're not gonna send gloves. We're gonna send cloak, and set the rank up spell. You want to see the rank up spell as fast as possible. I've learned that through many times and going through my combo and being like, oh, I can't get to my rank up spell. What rank 4 do I make? I don't want to make Redoer because that doesn't help me as much as I'm forgetting the name, as Dark Requiem would. But this is why I've learned, get the rank up off of Bardiche when you can. All right, we're gonna go ahead, banish cloak, add not Brigandine, I think I called it Brigandine the whole thing. Add Stained Greaves. We're gonna go ahead, and the effect of Torrent Scales will activate, special summoning himself, and then they'll activate Stained Greaves' effect, special summoning him as well. And we're gonna keep him level 3 for obvious reasons. So this one's not gonna be as amazing considering our hand. It'll be nice because we do have more interruption. And so what we can do, we're gonna go ahead and activate the effect of Torrent Scales. We're gonna go ahead and discard the boots. Yes, we're gonna discard the boots because we want to keep Ash, Bell in hand, and we can go ahead and add another Fogblade because we will still be going into our Requiem and we'll have a total of 5 monster negates. And we will send, at this point, yes, we will send gloves. All right. Now there's nothing else to do really aside from exceed into Breaksword. You could go into Levier, bring back that, and then use gloves, banish gloves, get wing, boom boom, so you just have more bodies on the field. But sometimes the less bodies is the better. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just it's a preference thing personally. I would have done that if I had Apollousa and went into Apollousa into extra deck. But since we don't, this is what we're sticking with here. But most of the time you end on the same board just going through a whole bunch of different routes. Unlike some decks where it's just very, linear, like boom, 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 boom. Brightest effect, triggering, destroying your own Brick Sword. So here what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and choose. Choosing is the most difficult part. So what we want to do, we don't want to choose Boots because we want to banish Boots so we can add a second Fog Blade to hand, right? And so we can go ahead and bring out... We'll go ahead and add these, special summon these two back, Sting, Greaves, and Racket Gloves. So the reason I haven't set the Fog Blade in my hand yet is because you want to go ahead and wait till you add that second one. So it's like they don't really know what you set, obviously. You could have set anything else, like Sword or something, but they just don't know. So it makes it an unknown and a Fog Blade instead of them knowing exactly where you set that first Fog Blade, so they can go ahead and think they get a guaranteed Fog Blade. We're going to go ahead, go to Dark Rebellion. If that makes sense, just like a whole bunch, that's just mind game stuff. Mind game stuff. Banish Boots to add that second Fog Blade to hand. Because we don't want to telegraph to our opponent that we have Fog Blade in hand already. We want to make them think that it's a brick, honestly. That is some other type of spell or trap, okay? So what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to set one Fog Blade here and the other one here. So we end 3 sets, 2 hand traps. So total amount of monster negates we have. Oopsies, these two aren't even in frame right now. So total amount in monster negates, we have these 2 Fog Blades, so that's 2. And then once we rank up, that is 3 monster negates off a Dark Requiem, which Requiem is such a good card because that negate is neither once per turn nor once per chain. So like if you were to activate Requiem and they were trying to negate it with a monster effect, you could just go with detach, negate, destroy, and special summon and exceed if I want to. But also another thing with with Requiem is that you want to keep Dark Rebellion attached to him as long as possible. Because the only reasons you get those effects is as long as Dark Rebellion is the exceed material. So just also keep that in your head while doing that. You want to keep Dark Rebellion attached as an exceed materials for as long as you can while you have Requiem on the field. And sometimes it does suck because Requiem, if you're in game 3, Requiem will most likely maybe get Kaiju or something else. But if they don't, then it'll happen. And plus you also have Ash to stop a search and Bell to stop some graveyard shenanigans from going on. But this end board is very strong. So you end on a total of 5 monster negates and then hand trap interruptions. And even if these do go to the graveyard, you can still special summon bodies from your grave. Because most often than not, they'll always take out British first, which is kind of strange. If they can't get over Requiem, they'll just try and take out British. And then at the end phase, you could just go ahead and activate those Fog Blades, just banish them, and then be like, okay, summon Bardiche, and then Torn Scales will special summon himself in your opponent's end phase, which is very nice because it does take down the summon number amount, even if they have like Schism and stuff like that, it will go ahead and do it won't stop that really, but it will pretty much avoid that, so you can kind of get past that window. But again, I would say the hardest matchup for this deck would be the Shaddoll, Dogmatica, Invoked Eldritch matchup. Just because Schism, window, and then Intis popping everything. Because that did happen. They did come up a lot when I played. They went Maximus and then Intis pop, and I couldn't avoid it in any way because I already ranked up into that. So, but it just depends on when you want to activate this card. Usually, because things you can let slide, you can be like, okay, fog blade, and then when you get to the point where you're like, I need to activate this so I can dodge this effect. But hey, do what you gotta do. But I appreciate all you guys who came out and watched this video. This is, I mean, hey, I'll get better, and this glare will definitely go away sometime in the future. I'm not exactly sure when, and I don't know. I might get some comments about my field center, but it's a Dante field center from the Burning Abyss, and he's doing a Joseph Joestar's pose. And let me take it out the sleeve. I got it for I think $8 off of eBay. It's like it's not metal, but it's like kind of flimsy and it's pretty shiny. But I mean, it was a good $8 purchase. Goodbye. eBay custom field centers. I literally just looked up on eBay Dante field centers, and this was one of the ones that I liked that came up. But I really appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, go ahead and share with friends. Go ahead and check out my Twitter. I post on there pretty constantly. I tweet a lot. I think I do. I'm not sure, but I think I do. For the amount of times I'm on my phone or my computer, I tweet a lot. But I'll go ahead, leave my Twitter in the description. Everything else, I mean, I don't have anything else to really put in the description other than the general description of this video. But if you made it this far, I really appreciate you, and have a good one. I will be back later with something a little special. We will be doing an opening of 2 Ancient Guardians, just depending on when they get here. They should be here next week, maybe early next week, maybe around Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. So I'll try to get those out for you, and I also have a new idea for a series that I already did post on Twitter. So you're gonna you might have to. It was maybe like 2 days ago. So you might have to go ahead and look for that in my tweets if you do. But I appreciate it. You watch this video, go ahead. I know I've said it so many times, but you can't say it enough. Like, comment, subscribe, become part of the flame, the bonfire, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what I want to call it yet, but I'll get there when I get there. But AJ Flame signing off.